there's no better bet than a Sportingbet.
Hello, thanks for joining us here on Chasing the Dollar, brought to you by Sportingbet. Ben Damon is my name. I'm joined by Adam Pengilly. Adam, not a bad week last week. Goldtown taking out the big race.
Yeah, Goldtown was super, Ben, in the Bob Payne Spring Sprint. The scratchings definitely opened up the race for him, and I dare say my selections might have been slightly different if I knew the Graham Bate was going to scratch Purcell Bale and Desali Bale. But looking forward to the Sydney Cup Series. Always an intriguing series starting this Saturday night at headquarters. Interesting to see which greyhounds make it through to the final.
Yeah, some very nice racing at Wentworth Park this Saturday night. We do have two heats of the Sydney Cup, and that's where we kick it off. In fact, race number 4 on the program it is, the first of these heats. It's a pretty nice race over the 720 as well. Where are you going here, Adam?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of interstate presence in this year's series, Ben, at least not in numbers, but I'm pretty keen on a Victorian in Set Sail South from box 7 here. If you take a line through his form in the National Distance Championship Series, he was only beaten a whisker in the Victorian final, wasn't beaten a great distance behind Smart Valentino in the National Distance final at the Meadows. I think that's pretty good form here for this. He's drawn out wider on the track with not a whole lot of speed directly around him. If he can just stalk the speed going into that first turn and really do his best work late, he's probably a pretty good bet for mine on Saturday night. We've included number 4, Pride of Egypt for second. He's turned an absolute punter's curse of late. Had the race won all over going to the top corner last week and just kept running up backsides. He's got ability, so I can't leave him out, and he goes in for second, but definitely needs to improve his track now to be competitive in this series. I've included number 1, Kim Keeping for third. Came through that same race as Pride of Egypt last week. Drawn on the inside, should be able to give a good sight. And number 6, Belhaven, goes in for 4th. Just want to see her show something before I seriously entertain her again. But like I mentioned earlier, I'm pretty keen on number 7, Set Sail South.
Let's look at the free-for-all. This is race number 5 on the program. Pretty nice-looking race as well. Electro Storm draws the outside here. Was your best bet last week. Won at a good price too. You going to go again?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Been around the $3, $3.20 mark. I'm not going to jump off him here now. I think he's drawn out wide on the track with that plenty of early speed. I think he can get the fly. I know last week's race was against a lot weaker company and it was an easy kill for him, but I think he's ready to race against this grade of greyhound on a more consistent basis. He's really come of age over the last month and happy to make him my top selection. Really keen to see how number 6, Sucker Punch, goes after a couple of decent runs back. He should be able to get a tag on the back of My Sweet Love and be competitive in this type of race. I've included number 1, Where's Wob for third. Probably a little bit better drawn out wide on the track, but should be competitive from the inside draw. And number 3, Stusacino, is 1 for your wider multiples, but my numbers are 8, 6, 1 and 3.
We move on to race number 6, and this is the second of the heats of the Sydney Cup, and we see an absolute superstar going around here. It is Smart Valentino. Draws the outside. Shouldn't be a problem, though. Smart Valentino to win here?
Yeah, quite simply, Ben. If he's probably at 85, 90%, he probably wins this race, I'd imagine. I know it was only a small field last start, but he still had to get the job done, and he got it done in almost near track record time. The price was really short then. You get a slightly better price on Saturday night against a tougher field, but I still think he's going to be a pretty good bet. I don't mind him drawing out a little bit wider on the track. Should be able to get him to go through the gears into that first turn and really wind up and descend in that last 100 metres like he usually does. So he's going to be my top pick. Number 3, Corborn Looney, goes in for second. She was a little bit disappointing in the Chairman's Cup Series, but I think with a couple of weeks freshen up, maybe a little bit of early dash back into her legs, she might be able to land in the first 2 or 3 here and break up the field and run a bold race at some odds. Number 4, Lucy Wise, and number 1, Infinite Wish, are the Victorians coming up for this series. They're good chances to make the final, but like I mentioned earlier, I think Smart Valentino should be far too good for this field, and happy to make him my best bet.
And that takes us to race number 7, which is the third leg of the quaddie at Wentworth Park on Saturday night. This is the field for the 520-metre race. Who do you like here?
Got number 5, Courageous Girl, Ben. Looks to be a pup of huge ability. She hasn't missed the placings in 7 career starts, though, and had a first look at Wentworth Park last week, scorched around in 29.86. I think it takes a pretty special greyhound to break 30 seconds that easily in the first look at Wentworth Park. She's a pretty safe beginner, and I think with a clean getaway, she'll be able to put this field away pretty early, so happy to make number 5, Courageous Girl, my top pick. Number 1, Double Trigger, goes in for second. Can be a little bit erratic at boxer eyes, but should have every chance from an inside draw. Number 6, Hero's Return, is much better than what he showed last week. And number 3, Kobe J, goes in for 4th. But like I mentioned earlier, I think number 5, Courageous Girl, might be a star pup in the making, and happy to make her my top pick.
And let's go to the final leg of the quaddie. This is race number 8. It's a 4th grade over the 520 metres. Now, Boyana, it's one of those that you've sacked. You're not going back, are you?
Yeah, it's been pretty bad to us a couple of times, Ben, so I don't think I can go back for another time. Going to be in the top 4, but definitely not going to tip it on top. My selection here is number 6, Maya Karoma. I think you can either head off the likes of Avondale Amore and Boyana into the first turn. If you can't do that, should at least be able to stalk them into the first turn and do its best work down the back straight. Provided she can run around that 30-second mark, which seems to run around that time fairly often, I think she'll probably win this race. So number 6, Maya Karoma, is the top pick. Number 5, Avondale Amore, has that early dash that's going to put himself in the race. No speed drawn directly underneath. underneath has chances as well. Number 2, Cosmic Wise up from Victoria adds some intrigue into this race. Hasn't run blinding times in Victoria, but should be competitive in this type of grade. And like I mentioned earlier, number 3, Boyana, sucks us in fairly often, but I can't have it in my top 3 here. Just goes in for 4th. But I think Maya Karoma is probably a pretty decent bet in the last leg of the quaddie.
Okay, time to get Adam's best bet on the program. You find it in the second heat of the Sydney Cup.
Yeah, race 6, number 8, Ben Smart Valentino. The odds probably won't be flash, but they'll be better than his last start. Quite simply, with a clean getaway, I think he just wins this race.
Yeah, you would think so. Now, what about some value?
Going for race 3, number 7, Magic Moves. A greyhound that's always consistent, always goes around over the odds, so I reckon I might be able to run a cheeky race from a wide draw.
And take us through your quaddie selection.
Going to go in the first leg with Electro Storm, Sucker Punch and Where's Wob in the first leg. Going to include Smart Valentino and Corborn Looney for a bit of insurance in the second of the Sydney Cup heats. Courageous Girl and Double Trigger go in for the third. And in the final leg, we've got Maya Karoma, Avondale Amore and Cosmic Wise.
Yeah, it's been pretty tough in recent weeks, the quaddie at Wentworth Park. But this week, you think we'll get it?
Not had a lot of luck with the quaddie, Ben, but I reckon this week we might go a little bit closer to the mark.
Yeah, it looks gettable. And we'll check it out next week on the show. We'll see you next time on Chasing the Dollar.
There's no better bet than a sporting bet.